Julia Ogieho. Grew up in an area where I may not have been aware of the impact of day-to-day racism.
My name is Warda Hassan. I am a Tottenham local. I've grown up here and I was born in the UK, in Enfield. My parents came in the late 80s, 88.
Ken, looking back to what you said, how do you reflect to the film that you saw?
I was involved in the riot in 1985. Even then, I was living in Hackney, and I can remember, I'm feeling so incensed because it just seems like we just seem to be so powerless.
Martha, I have known as one of the leading people, very quiet looking, until you fire her off. And then she really goes for it.
My name is Martha Osamor. I am what they call activists. But deep down, all I wanted in life is to have a situation where everybody is allowed to be themselves, where what you pay in is shared out evenly amongst everybody.
A real politician. You could hear that. Narendra.
I came to Britain almost as an exile because I grew up in Zimbabwe, or Rhodesia as it then was. I just turned 20, and the Smith regime then was going to call me up into the army. And my father packed my suitcase for me and says, "You're on the plane tonight before you get your call-up papers." In 1982, I was elected, and I was amongst the first. I think at that time there were 5 or 6 other black councillors throughout London. And I'll say this with no modesty whatsoever. If London's got a reputation, and Haringey in particular has a reputation of being a welcoming place, of being a friendly place that will speak up for itself, that won't take any nonsense from anybody else, it's because of what happened on that night in 1981. Because that's where those young people from the Wood Green Shopping Centre said, "Sus laws, we're not having it." And that's what's happened from then on. And from then on, I was elected to the council in 1982. I was the main organizer for Bernie when he got selected in 1987. When Bernie became the MP, the count was in this building, in that hall where the wedding is taking place. So when we had that event about the Windrush generation a few weeks back, and Sonia, you got to listen to this because I'm going to mention you in this. Sonia collared me and said, "What about all the other people that have made this place? Not this place, Selby Centre, but Haringey. And what you see on the wall around here, right, is not just Bernie Grant or Jeremy Corbyn or me or Martha or Alex or anybody. These are all the change makers. This is what Black history is about because it's about us. History is about every human being that has made Haringey into the kind of place that we want it to be and that we will not allow it to recede." And there was in the recent past an effort to take it all back. And there was 5,000 houses were going to be sold off over there. All the schools were going to be handed over to private people. Every little thing that we saw as a public service. Half the libraries are customer services centers. And yet, there are people around here, maybe you yourself as well, that use those libraries to study because at home they're too overcrowded or they don't have the kind of atmosphere that you need. And if all the Haringey schools are doing well, how come the unemployment levels are still so high? So those changes that we've kind of overseen, because I'll tell you now, in 81, it wasn't a pleasant place.
No.
You heard earlier about schools busing. Nobody talks about schools busing now. But the big difference is that was the first generation that sometimes thought, like Martha was saying, we're here for a few years, we're going to go back. For me, it was, I'm going to be in exile for a few years, I'm going to go back.